Hey guys, welcome back to Three Swords Productions. I'm Steven and this is Nathan. Today I'm playing Crocodile and Nathan is playing Sanji.
Ugh.
And we want to show you guys what could happen if you play against someone who is an expert at your deck and you've never played it before. So you ready to get destroyed?
Yeah, I guess.
Alright, let's go. Alright, so what's your favorite part about the Sanji deck that you piloted?
My favorite part, the events.
The events are really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one?
The one I never cast. Uh,
I love it. He doesn't even know the events. You watch me
no,
play
it's
this
three
deck.
swords. It's three
Okay,
swords.
I was gonna say you watch me pilot the deck every night here on the channel. All right, well I'm on Crocodile tonight. We've actually been playing around with Crocodile quite a bit because I don't really love the way that Ivankov plays the game, and yet somehow Crocodile plays the same cards and it feels amazing. Luffy with Crocodile's ability is such a force. One of my favorite things that can happen is 9 cost Mihawk coming down, and then on the same turn that you use the Crocodile ability. Well, it turns out that that's equally powerful if you play 7-drop Doflamingo or 6-drop Luffy, and so we are capitalizing.
Yeah, and that's been very, very powerful playing against because I have to weirdly position my plays so that I'm either playing things bigger than five Dawn so that I can avoid getting Crocodile back to my hand, or I have to play so wide that I'm able to still be playing the game after he destroys my board in the turn.
Okay, so here you had like a really aggressive early Sanji start where you
Yeah.
went double 2-drop. That's and you're on the draw, it's super powerful. And then looking at your hand, you're going to have a 4 cost and a 3-drop in hand. Now, one thing I'm noticing right now is that you're countering out with your 3-drop, and
Yeah.
that feels very wrong at the moment. Looking at your hand, I actually playing against you assumed you just had like 2 more 3-drops, and looking at your hand, you don't. And then
No, I
you
definitely
picked
don't.
up Three Sword style Onigiri off the top there,
Yep.
and I'm sure you felt instantly punished by discarding that.
No, it was fine. Yes, obviously that's the best thing to put in, and I should probably just discard a 2-drop since I have 2 of them.
Yeah.
But there was thoughts I wanted to leave open of playing Gecko Moria plus like a 2-drop this turn, so I wanted to leave like those lines open. But yeah, having the extra 2-drop just makes it seem silly.
Yeah. Well, I totally get that. You want to go to the fourth character every turn. Try your best to go to the fourth character. So keeping
Yeah.
a 2-drop in your hand would allow you to play the 4-drop and then expand out to the 2-drop, which you actually just did. So that's a really cool move there. Um, Not attacking with the other 2 cost is a choice. And actually expanding out because Crocodile can have a hard time dealing with your board if it's not going to like reduce Dawn. Like it doesn't have any
Right.
hard removal tools, only temporary things, which doesn't on the surface doesn't line up quite well enough with Sanji, who can just replay those for free. But we are seeing a Punk Gibson and a 3 Sword style Onigiri in your hand. Here, I actually know that swinging about 1k over whatever I'm
Yes.
attacking is quite powerful, so I know I'm getting prepped for the 6ks that are about to start coming out, so I actually play my Crocodile. I value that over anything else in my hand, and I do know that I actually have time to play it, so we're going to land that.
I think that's super good. I think that'll be a great pressuring tool for what I've got going on the board here. And now I'm at a decision point where I drew 6-drop. Was that 6-drop Mihawk? Is that what it is?
Yep,
Uh,
Mihawk.
and I can either go ahead and play that with doing nothing else for the turn, or I can establish that hey, I should start attacking with this 2-drops, pressuring down out of the cards out of his life, and instead like hold up Punk Gibson and maybe play a 2-drop or something like that.
Yeah.
And I like that line a lot more because Sanji's not a deck that can play for a long time. You can play for a little while, but you can't play for a long time. When those big swings start coming in at the end of the game, your events are really going to get pressured, especially someone who knows how to play against the Sanji deck.
Yeah.
So playing out those cards early and capitalizing on what your characters can do is very important.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Once you get to the end of the game, the 6k attacks coming in at you look roughly the same as the 7 or 9k attacks. So you got to be prepped for that. Okay, you're coming across for 5, really pressuring my hand. You can actually look at my hand right now and tell I have drawn a lot of the cards in my deck that do not counter. So these 5k attacks are really pressuring me, and
Yeah.
you're probably gonna see me just take damage. I'm gonna discard a buggy there. A buggy very powerful card for the curve. I am on 5 Dawn, not 6, so I'm going to be going to 8, and I want to play the Emporio Ivankov this turn. So I discard the buggy because it's not going to be necessary. Plus, I already have the Ivankov in hand, so we don't need the buggy right
Sure,
now.
sure. Kind of how early do you start thinking about bouncing a creature back to my hand with a crocodile ability?
Well, we want to establish complete board dominance first, and be able to pressure your hand, pressure your board state, and then once you're trying to overextend in order to catch back up, that's when I found Crocodile's ability to be quite oppressive, and so that's what we're going to be going for. This turn, I swung on your life because I actually think that, if I do end up playing the Luffy here, having double strike would be quite powerful against you. It would put you to 0, and then I could just swing. Here I'm trying to get, you left 2 Dawn open, so I'm actually trying to force the Punk Gibson out before the following turn, just to just weaken you before we go to that turn.
Yeah, it's possible I shouldn't even be worrying about it here, but I do feel like I need to start getting out of some attacks here. And that was just kind of the right amount of Dawn open that I still had left to be able to do something with it. Feels bad leaving Dawn on the table, not being used.
Yeah.
And I know Sanji does that sometimes, so that's probably just something I need to be more comfortable with, but with the decks that I played,
Oh,
that's
100%. Like
something I'm not
you
used to.
just leave it open because if you don't have an event in hand, you're probably going to get one off of life.
Yeah.
And here you see me. So a lot of times I advocate, if you're playing against Sanji, you just leave them at 3 characters. They can't use their ability. But actually, I know that my Luffy is going to have double strike, and he doesn't play any blockers. So I'm actually setting up for that double strike pretty hard here, and I'm baiting him into playing either a 4-cost again, which I just put back in his hand, or another 6-cost, even making his board bigger. And that way on the following turn he doesn't have enough Dawn open for multiple events, so I'm kind of leaving leg room for him to play into that. And the Punk Gibson pickup was actually quite nice there.
It is.
For me to say that you don't play blockers, I am looking at that killer in your hand right now. That is cool, but that's where Crocodile actually picks up some steam. You're able to use the -4 Dawn to put the blocker back in their hand and say, well, you have a 1K, but I'm swinging for 9.
Yeah, it's also very bounceable with the Luffy, too. On the Luffy attack, you can just bounce it and get out of the way.
Absolutely.
So it's not quite as good here as it seems, but it is a tiny bit of a roadblock.
Right. It is going to cost me quite a bit. And, if I can't really put it's hard for Crocodile to use his ability effectively against blockers, and that's because typically when you swing, if your opponent has multiple blockers, you swing with one character, they're just going to block with the second thing, and then you really won't get your Crocodile's ability at the time that you wanted. So it can be a bit awkward, the timing there.
Yeah, and now we're just attacking on you on life still. There's no reason to attack the Crocodile. Attacking his life does about the same thing since he's at 2 life, and I do want to pressure him on the cards in hand. He does need 2 cards in hand to be able to activate activate the Luffy there.
Yeah.
So he will have to decide at some point whether he wants to activate that ability or protect his life if those come down to it there.
Well, I mean, the life total is definitely something to consider. I'm glad that you mentioned needing to discard 2 Luffy to use his ability. You have to discard 2 cards. You do have to consider that when you're playing Crocodile and you're playing, Monkey Luffy in the blue decks. You can defend yourself with every card in your hand, but then your opponent just won't attack you again. You'll go down to 0 cards, and you actually need it to take 1 damage because the 1 damage plus the 1 card you're going to draw for your turn equals the 2 that you need for Luffy ability, which is also tied to the way that he gains double strike. So if you don't, if you make that mistake, your opponent might just recognize it and leave you at 0 cards so that you can't double strike them.
Yeah. So I end my turn holding up 5 Dawn still. I want to be able to play both of these events should I need to.
And the Sables pickup was powerful. So we're going to see if that alters the game plan or not. We are holding a 1-cost blocker, 2K, a 4-cost blocker, and now a Sable. So we actually have a really nice curve going on where we could just, dominate your board for this turn and then go for all-out lethal next turn. You are holding 5 Dawn open right now. That actually represents quite a bit. So we're going to swing on you and see what you do here. Now, this is a 7K attack with single strike. I'm going to call it that for now. It is an attack for 1, and I hope you recognize that is your opportunity to just take a damage.
Yeah, I kind of think about it for a while here. There's definitely options to just Punk Gibson or something out of this.
Yeah.
But I identify that the double attack is super good against me, so I can just take the one here, and it's
Yeah.
probably about the same.
And that's actually just me recognizing that, hey, your events are actually strong enough to where my double attack's probably not getting through. It probably just means I'm wasting 2 cards on my hand. So, I'm going to give you the opportunity to make my double strike not effective anymore,
Yep.
so that we can kind of get past that awkwardness on my side. Because I do think that's actually, I'm at 1 life. You have 2 characters. I think my resources are best spent somewhere else.
I think that is completely fair. You do get the crocodile ability that doesn't cost you any Dawn, so
Yeah.
there is that part. But yes, especially though attacking in allows me to do something like 3 sword style dump in a creature,
Right. That's also
which is
powerful.
also a little bit of a surprise if you're not exactly planning out for that. So this denies me that opportunity to
So
do
we're going
so.
to see what we can do here. And I also have to consider, at this point, okay, he did actually take the 1 damage. So because of that, is it just worth me attacking to actually get a card out of his hand? If I were to swing with the Luffy here, um, I would be able to bounce one of the characters back to your hand, as well as pressure your events going to the next turn, because that is one of the things that can happen where Sanji can maximize on the number of events that they have, and you just slowly you bleed those, and you have not
Yes.
a lot for the last turns of the game. Now, the other thing that's happening here, and you're watching that, I decided on this turn I have a full clear. Let me take it, and then we're going into the absolute last turn of the game where this is the turn where you need to pass with 10 Dawn open.
And I have no board.
And you have no board, so you can't, it's basically 3 sword style onigiri to put in an attacker, and so I just need to make sure that I don't go to 0, and then on the following turn you just can't win. So,
Yeah, and you also have 2 blockers out, so I need a lot of attacks to be able to get through.
yeah,
It's pretty much I have to decide, committing one way or another, what I'm going to be doing here.
yeah.
We'll definitely see me commit some type of character to the board so I can get the untap effect on my turn, and then probably hold up 3 sword style to probably do it on your turn as well. But attacking for 7, this will probably get the 1 mana law to block. You could block with the Inazuma there, but
Well,
you don't want to pitch the card from your hand, and the Inazuma
Right.
is just a good attacker. So
right.
oh, you took the life. Interesting.
I'm going to take the life. Other card in my hand is a 2K, and then I picked up a blocker there.
What's the thought behind adding a card there instead of using the 1-drop? Is you just still value the blockers for a higher number in the future?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
And the Inazuma on the following turn is going to actually become a 7K, so I don't want to lose that. I
Yeah.
definitely could have lost the law. I was actually just trying to think about what are the ways I could maximize the number of my attackers.
And I think that's correct.
And that is an attack for 5K, which can be, or it can be even a 6K attack. They look roughly the same against you. So, 5 Dawn on the law and swing actually doesn't look that crazy.
Yeah, and on my turn, I opted to go for the 6-drop Mihawk. It's something that he can't bounce with either Croc or Luffy here. So it was either go super wide with creatures again or play something he can't bounce, and I opted for the thing he can't bounce. I'm still holding up Sword Style plus...
Yeah. Now, this was actually a really
Punk Gibson here,
intricate turn for my attackers. He is holding up in 4 Dawn, which is kind of the magic number for being able to play 3 sword style onigiri, put in a thing, and then you have 3 Dawn left open to either Deathwing or Punk Gibson, those kinds of plays.
Yeah.
So I am looking to try and pressure you. I also am aware very much that if you play Punk Gibson on my first attack to tap down the Inazuma, I would lose my Inazuma attack altogether, but that would also put you down to 2 Dawn left, and then you couldn't play 3 sword style onigiri on tapping Dawn to let you play more events, which you very much need this turn. So on realizing that, I'm kind of restructuring my attacks here, and I'm saying I actually do get 1 free attack before Inazuma gets tapped down, and so that's going to basically the first attack you have to onigiri, put a thing in order to untap, and you can't Punk Gibson on the first attack.
Yeah, and that's a powerful thing to recognize because I feel kind of sad here. It doesn't feel great.
I don't think you're holding Punk Gibson, but if you had been, so I am going to swing with Luffy first. I know that. I'm sorry, I took back my attack a couple of times. That was it was a really intricate attack sequence for me. I definitely didn't want to lose my Inazuma attack, but I also wanted to be able to play around everything that you might represent. And Sanji holding up in 4 Dawn represents so many things.
It really
You
does.
really have to think about it. And he's just going to counter out a lot of 1Ks in his hand. Good thing Croc bounced all of those.
Yeah. Things like Gekamoria, like the Zoro in the hand, there are things I'm never going to be able to actually play out. Same with the killer. So might as well just counter out with him here.
Yeah.
7K is a number that I can counter out of, actually. He's never going to be attacking for less than that with what he's got on the board.
And we're gonna go 7K. So we actually did swing with Luffy, discard 2 cards, and it didn't actually gain anything. We didn't get breakthrough. He's only at 1, so we knew the double strike wasn't worth anything. And he's also has a 6 cost, so we can't bounce anything. But what it does let us do is have 1 card in hand for the Inazuma become a 7K.
Yep. And another 7K attack I know I can counter out of, so I decided to use that counter power.
And when you get down to 1 card in hand, we basically know the game is over.
Yeah.
So the best thing that you can hope for, I think at this point, is for me to swing for 5. You take it, or for me to swing for more than 5. I probably should have just swung you for 5 there. That was kind of a misstep on my part. And then you pick up Love Love Beam off the life, which is actually fantastic.
Yep.
It's going to let you potentially get out of 2 things if you pick up another Love Love, draw a card again. I'm actually in hot water, which you do exactly. That's quite the sequence, Nathan.
Yeah. Here's the problem, though. You still have a lot of Dawn left.
I do have 2 more attackers, and actually, you see right here, if I had blocked with that law, I think I might have lost this game. I would have to.
I think you could.
You go to 9K, and the most you can do is 10, so I could definitely swing out. But it is going to be a lot more fun to watch the law swing in.
And now I just have 1K and
Love goes again, and now we're going to 6K with no Dawn. So Law gets to finish the game out, and we have 1 card left in hand. It is a blocker. So pretty fun game there. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was fun to watch.
It was fun being on the Sanji side for once. It's
I'm sure. It probably feels pretty terrible against Croc, who can just on a dime. Now pick up your board, please.
Yes.
That doesn't feel great.
It didn't feel great. It felt very bad to try and get a board out, but the board was just dead all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get through with all those 4K attackers so often. They're good, but they're not that good.
You gotta, you just, skill diff.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm joking. No, you have to really, Sanji is a very mid-powered deck, so you really have to pick a game plan and say, this is the axis that I'm going to attack this deck on, and I'm going to absolutely stick to that. And you really are never allowed to change your mind about anything. So
okay.
It's quite difficult, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it.
But, all right, guys, thanks so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed that, please subscribe to the channel and consider watching more of the content. There are playlists on the screen right now, and we will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.